Well, hello, all you miniatures lovers out there on the interwebs. I'm Doc Eon. It's a Monday, and I'm here to ramble. Today is Monday, the 1st of August, 2022, and it feels awful having to say that, because in my mind, August means that summer is coming to an end, and I don't want the summer to end. Oh well. Next week it's back to work for me, so let's make the most of this while we can. Anyway, we're looking at some finished models here. These are the Reaper characters and minis I got from them and started last week. In the back we have the Cloaker, who on the back of him he's camouflaged, rock colored, while the inside is more enveloping. Now, perhaps it's a bit boring, it's a bit dark, but it's a dungeon monster. It has to be dark colors. Now, the mini monsters are all very simply painted, just a few colors, a quick wash. We have the baby roper with just a couple of tentacles. Baby beholder, who doesn't even have any eye stalks yet. He has 4 tentacles that haven't developed eyes of their own, just has the big central eye. Then we have some characters, and you can tell the difference in the quality of the sculpt. These are all very, very different ages. This is a really old sculpt in true 25mm scale. This is a sculpt from the era that I'm most familiar with, like what they look like for most of the 2000s in regards to scale and style. This is a very new metal sculpt, which you can tell by... She's actually approximately the same size. She looks smaller because the base has a smaller thickness. It has these better integral bases, which are oval to save metal and space in the blister, I suppose, instead of perfectly round, which I would have preferred, but it's still good enough for me to not bother putting an extra base on her. This model is the same, but in bones, the same style of base and sculpting. While this was a very early bones model, before they'd switched to these oval bases, and they had the spaghetti bases. And you can tell it's an old bones model because of the softness of the detail and the lack of detail, simply. So that's that. And apart from these guys, I also finished all of these. Surprise! All the snake people. Now, these are painted... Actually, why are they different colors? Well, because I painted them with the idea of using them for a specific role-playing campaign, which is known as Dark Springs of Hot Springs Island, Hot Springs Island anyway. And the monsters called salamanders there are described as being mostly reddish orange, but some of the leaders, or tricksters as they're called, are bluish white. So I made a smaller amount of them with that color. And I got a little carried away with the shield designs. These are not freehanded. This is all sculpted in. But you know, if I was feeling lazy, I would have just dry brushed and washed it all just one metal color, made it all bronze or something. But I decided to make it like painted shields to make them more interesting. The one thing I'm not terribly happy about is the fire here. So, see, because I decided to paint her robe red to contrast the blue. So then I thought, I can't have traditional orange-red fire. How about a green fire? And I've tried painting green flames before, but then I've always gone from like a very pale, like greenish white up to more and more green. This time I had yellow as an intermediary, and it kind of overpowers the green. I don't know if that's a successful effect. Oh well, you live and you learn. Won't do that again, I guess. Now, as for this is basically just 2 models and 4 copies of each. So I don't know if I will have unique still pics of all 8 of them at the end. I'll probably just show you one of each. I'll have to figure out which are the best painted ones that I want to show off. But yeah, that was a huge batch of finished stuff. 22 minis, I think. I probably will not hit that many again this year, because as I mentioned, next week I'm starting, school is starting up slowly again. It's just some meetings and shit, and the students don't arrive until the week after that, but still, I will have to leave home for a few more hours every day, which cuts down on my painting time. And yeah, as you will see at the end of this video, I have started to decrease the number of new projects I start each week as well in preparation for this, because yeah, more than in a normal work week, I don't think I can paint more than 10 minis, and even that might be a stretch some weeks. So we'll see. But anyway, let's go on to the unfinished stuff and the works in progress. Now this dude is the one who got away from me this week. He's not finished, the Storm Giant. He's started. I mean, there are undercoats on almost everything except the skin. I've worked some on the metallics. I'm going for his lightning bolt, his thunderbolt. I was actually inspired by the new Thor movie, where Zeus has his lightning bolt, which is not made out of lightning. It's a weapon. It's an item made of some gold-like metal. So I thought, yeah, let's do that. So that's what I'm aiming for this to look like, that when it's finished. And yeah, shouldn't be a problem to finish him by next week. Because I've got less on my plate in the way of new projects. And yeah, let's look at that next. Now, this is the stuff that is newly prepped for this week, and some of it has some paint on it, these characters, which I'm going to finish tonight, hopefully. I've started painting some portions of them, mostly metallics. And the paint, the colors that are in these are actually because I did zenithal priming and then actually sprayed on a thin coat of a color on them. So these blood demons are red. This one has some violet on the wings. And I didn't show you this last week. I decided on a whim to prep this dragon. It's the treasure dragon from the Dungeon Dwellers box, because I got this idea for kind of a aquamarine dragon I wanted to paint, and so the basic tone here is blue. I'm going to add more green into that. And finally, in the back we have the Shelob miniature, or it's called something else. It's a huge freaking spider that I primed German Grey. It is a little tricky to see, but it's actually supposed to be resting on these legs, these 2 legs here, and 2 on the other side, but it's not really strong enough, so it has sort of, and it's supposed to have this the butt raised up, but it has fallen down and is resting on the base. I guess that's good enough. Nobody's going to care much about that. we'll have to see how far we get with these by next week. The goal is to finish all of it. But as I said, we'll see. Oh, and I almost forgot, I should note a detail about this model. He has a very fancy shield. He actually came with two options. I could have had that shield, or he could have had this left-hand dagger, which he would have been holding in a sort of point down fist grip. And I thought this shield looked just so much cooler. I went with that. And hope you feel I made the right choice. I don't think I need to save this. It can go in my bits box. It will probably not ever be useful for anything, but oh well. I'm somewhat of a hoarder. And you know what time it is? It's time for new projects. And this week we are sticking completely within the Bones 5 Kickstarter. And let's start with the big one. The really huge mini I want to do is named Yog-Sothoth, or Yog-Sothoth, depending on how you pronounce it. As you can see, it's a lot of tentacles. This is because it's a Cthulhu deity. It's not just tentacles, it's a lot of eyes, because Yog-Sothoth is described by Lovecraft as floating iridescent orbs, largely, but we need some connective tissue. This one has an integrated base and some sort of pillar that he's wrapped around. I shouldn't say he, it, rather. So this is a lot of pieces. It looks complicated to put together. We'll have to see how it goes. If it's possible at all to prime it in one piece, or if I'll have to do it, prime certain sections separately to fit it in my spray booth. But I'm excited to get started. And this was from the options, the add-ons that I bought, aside from the core set and the expansions. So is this pack, the Elemental Scions. I think that's how it's pronounced. And it's 3 elemental creatures of different elements, like there's an Efreet, there's a Marid, and a what the Earth version is called, I don't recall. I think that's the 3 that are in here. So they're like genies of different elements. So that's only 4 minis. But with that, if I complete these, I will actually have completed all the options that I bought, all the add-ons that I got from this campaign, and I will only have the core set and a few expansions left. So that's another milestone. Anyway, 4 minis, even if they're very big, isn't enough for a whole week, so I'm adding some stuff, and I'm adding stuff mostly from the Fan Favorites expansion, because it included this Djinn. And I thought this Djinn he goes well with the other genies. So because he represents air, and I don't think there is an air genie in there. But then we need some smaller human-sized minis. Again, most of these are from Fan Favorites. I think this one is from the core set. But this little tiefling paladin, and this rogue, who is actually a copy of a miniature that I've painted in metal before. And this here is some sort of knight with a Zweihander. I think it's supposed to be a Landsknecht. And finally we have a raccoon man with a mug of ale. Funny stuff. So, yeah, that's... what's that? 5, 9, only 10 minis. But some of them are really large, and next week I will slowly be getting back to work. My vacation is starting to wind down, so I'm gonna have to pace myself with the painting anyway. Oh well, that was a depressing note to end on, but but I hope you enjoyed this episode in any case. So please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so before, comment, share, and all that usual stuff. But above all, join me here again in a week. Same day of the week, same channel, same Doc EM. But for now, signing off.